Look, first responders make incredible differences, and we often take those for granted because we don't see it in action every day, but we shouldn't. And there's a reason that Jon Stewart's speech to Congress went viral, right? We forget the impact that they make and have every single day. And my presence here is to remind the firefighters we care about them. We know they're first responders. We know they're paramedics and EMS folks. And we've had some of our own harsh examples. We have two firefighters that are now in stable condition, but with really critical injuries from an explosion and a fire in Roswell. They step up every single day, and I want them to know I'll continue to stand up and step up for them.
Communities?
Absolutely, and everybody needs to feel that way. Look, we're working on pensions, we're figuring out recruitment and training and strategies and salaries and healthcare coverage. And in many ways, frankly, New Mexico's doing a better job than, say, Congress and New York. But we're not done. We have to send a strong message that this is a state that cares about, respects, and honors all of our first responders. And that's exactly why I'm here tonight. You know, the We Build the Wall movement, if you can call it that, I'm really disappointed because it's a political effort built by, pardon the pun, Steve Bannon and other folks that spreads misinformation and is promoting a political agenda. And the problem with that is it doesn't get to solving any of the humanitarian crises at the border or border security, nor does it lend itself to brokering a deal between the federal administration and Congress. And so I'm really disappointed in this action. And frankly, this same group, We Build the Wall, there are questions about where the rest of their funds are going, what's really going on, are they really putting out misinformation? And let me answer it for your viewers, absolutely. And one of them is putting out misinformation that says that New Mexico is providing thousands of dollars in benefits to asylum seekers. A, it's not legal. B, we are not. And C, faith-based organizations and sponsor families provide whatever resources are needed for these beleaguered women and their children. I think I don't know what they're going to do, but look, they're not done. I mean, they get attention on Fox News. They're able to spread false information. They are hiding behind a political agenda that has very little to do with the border and border security and immigration. My job is to care about that. I actually care about human trafficking, and I care about bad actors, and I want the federal government to do something about drug trafficking. And at the same time, I expect them to hold up our Constitution and support asylum seekers. It's pretty clear, and what they're doing is abandoning their obligation and responsibility and making it a problem in El Paso and making it a problem in Las Cruces and Deming. And frankly, those communities are showing the federal government that we will do our job and we're pretty damn good at it. But for me, I'm still really disappointed and frankly a bit angry that the federal government is behaving in this unprofessional way and they're promoting these private groups to do the same. So I don't know, I need to refresh this data point, but I'm going to use it for your viewers. Several years ago, there was a data point that said that the rate of criminal arrests for low-level drug offenses included and other misdemeanors, that 1 in 3 Americans would have a criminal record. 1 in 3. And often, these are young people whose careers are impacted. So this is a recognition that we don't want you, particularly since cannabis, recreational cannabis is not legal in the state of New Mexico. We're going to give you a citation. It's a $50 citation for an 18-year-old. That sends a strong message, but we are not going to penalize you by giving you a criminal conviction. And it is a step in the right direction. We don't want young people in our jails and in our corrections systems. We want them to make good decisions, get a career, go to college, be good citizens. And this is a way that we create a productive future for everyone. Now, look, I'm sending a strong message. You know, I've also filed a lawsuit because sometimes a court order is just the ticket to cause them to move a little bit quicker. But I had a very productive with Acting Secretary McElhan. I think he was very receptive to the notion that you're asking states to do a job that you are totally in control over. You want to have a memorandum of understanding? You want to give us some border authority? You want me to do security and cameras and vehicles, road maintenance, and to really do it right? And agents will then pay us to do that. I promise you I'll do a really effective job. And you cannot take asylum seekers and you cannot load up 300 individuals. And I want to do a shout out to El Paso, and I want to do a shout out to Annunciation House. They do an amazing job. It's really the faith-based organizations that for decades have made all these operations be seamless, and Americans haven't really noticed until the federal government would pick up 300 people at a time and take them into a tiny community with no hotels or churches or shelters or transportation sites and just say, this is now your problem. I made a compelling case to the Assistant Secretary of Homeland Security, and I fully expect between a lawsuit that tells them I'm serious and an effort to negotiate, we're going to get relief from the federal government. In the meantime, thank you, Deming, you're amazing, and thank you, Las Cruces, and thank you, El Paso. This is a complicated issue, and I want to thank every single person who steps up. And maybe one last thing, particularly in communities like Deming that are really small, right? So those pressures are more difficult for them to absorb. And I guarantee all of your viewers that there's a variety of views about the border and about immigration in Deming. And maybe some folks don't even agree with me about what the priority strategies are. But it doesn't matter. Not a single member of that community, not a single elected official, irrespective of their party affiliation or their title, every single one of them have stepped up and made a difference. They're driving and volunteering and cleaning and sweeping and cooking. They're caring for children. They're bringing donations. That's what New Mexicans are made of. That's what Americans do. I'm proud of the state and our communities, and I'm going to keep fighting to make them whole.